What we want to do is, in light of the five miracles of money, we want to expose and we want to transform our thinking. What is it that we want to expose? So when we look at the problems that we're having with money, and you can have a great income, right? You can be making $100,000 a year, $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, whatever.
Really?
But the debt is crushing you. And so, and the problem with that is our mindset. Now, again, I'm just talking from my perspective. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that every single one of us, even in my own personal life, the mistakes that I've made, all the mistakes that we've made, all the results that we have created is because of our mindset. It is our mindset that sets us up for failure. And our mindset is either working against us or for us. And so having that reality, we have to create a new mindset. We have to think from a problem-solving perspective. I think it was Einstein that said that the only way that we can create new results, we have to have a new mindset. And the only way we can create a new mindset is that we have to have problem-solving knowledge, not just information, but we have to have problem-solving knowledge or problem-solving wisdom. And wisdom, when we look at it from a biblical perspective, so y'all didn't know y'all was gonna get a little Bible in here too. From a wisdom perspective, is the step-by-step solution to a problem. The step-by-step solution to a problem. And again, that is not the problem. The only problem that we have is a lack of knowledge. And that lack of knowledge is causing us to live and to make decisions from a debtor's position and not a banker's position. Because the bank is going to create interest, cash reserves, cash flow, profit, and velocity of money from our debt. Lord have mercy. We learn how to do that. Isn't it? I was talking with someone today, and I said, wouldn't it be awesome if in making debt payments, you were making those payments to yourself? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome to be making those payments to you and not to the bank, but at the same time, you're making your debt payments? Oh my God, that is powerful. And that is understanding the infinity formula in light of utilizing and maximizing the use and the application of five miracles of money, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into this. I got a little PowerPoint prepared, and it's not perfect, so please bear with me. As a matter of fact, yeah, please bear with me. You should see the miracle of interest. Stop paying interest and start earning it like the banks. The miracle of interest, stop paying interest and earn it like the banks. I love that expression, that statement. So the question to all of you is, are you earning interest like the bank? So here's your test question. When you look at your credit cards, when you look at your debt, if you evaluate the debt that you're paying out, are you paying out more interest to your debt or more interest on your savings? So what we want to do is we want to reverse engineer that, but we've got to understand it and know the steps to put into place to create that. So when we talk about interest, interest is the cost of borrowing money. This is one of the things that should keep us up at night. That as we're paying out interest, that those payments are costing us money. Or some of you that are my clients and utilizing the system, you're actually creating interest on your debt. You're actually creating or returning, you're actually making your debt an investment. Now, I have an advanced conversation to have that we're going to get into on the Wednesday night class. This is going to be for real estate investors, where we're going to be talking about the same conversation, but from a real estate investor's perspective. And what we're going to be talking about is there's a system called BRRRR, B-R-R-R. And what it is a process of buying a piece of real estate, creating equity in that real estate, and then refinancing to buy another piece of property. Well, again, without getting into whether or not if it's a good or bad decision, what we're going to show you is the cost of the loss of cash reserve doing that, and the loss of creating the 5 miracles of money on property equity value. That what we should be doing, and I'm giving like a commercial to the class, what we should be doing is creating the 5 miracles of money. If we're going to do that process, we must include the 5 miracles of money so that we're building our cash reserve while at the same time we're building our real estate empire. So we want to have interest as a return on our investment, and we want that interest to be the profit from our debt. Lord have mercy. I hope you're writing this down. What is interest? It's the power of compounding versus the burden of paying profit to a lender. Again, we either have the banker's mindset or we have the borrower's mindset. And unfortunately, the borrower's mindset, we're paying profit and interest to the lender rather than paying or creating compounding interest towards ourselves. And then understanding how banks use arbitrage is learning how to create more interest than what you are paying. Okay, hold on now. Hold on. Hold on. Arbitrage is, I'm going to put a little nuance on this term. Arbitrage is the art and science of creating more interest than what you are paying. See, the reason why debt is not the problem is because once you can create interest from that debt, once I create interest from that debt, then I reverse engineer the cost of that debt. Why? Because I'm creating interest from it. Okay, so why is this important? Because interest can be an asset on a liability, which is what we're talking about. We want to either make it, we either want our interest, either our interest is making us rich or our interest is keeping us trapped in debt. How many feel like interest is keeping them trapped in debt? Anybody? Anybody? So as a savvy investor, as a savvy saver, or having a banker's mindset, we want to use arbitrage to grow our wealth exponentially. This is the reason why, I'll talk about that in this case study that's coming up. Okay, so when we look at this opportunity, we want to be paying interest paying interest instead of earning it leads to financial stagnation. If all of us were to go back and look at how much money we have paid out to debt payments versus those payments being made to ourselves, that is the number one problem to every single financial challenge we are having. That financial stagnation is the end result. Paying interest to someone other than yourself is the end result of any and every financial challenge that you're having right now. Without arbitrage, once again, what is arbitrage? Arbitrage is when we create more money than what we are paying out. Or profit is when we create profit from our debt. I really need you to understand arbitrage, and I'll make sure that in next week's class we have the vocabulary words. You have the word, the definition of the word, and how it is applied. And please forgive me that you don't have that tonight. Without arbitrage, wealth leaks out from our mortgage, wealth leaks out from our credit cards, and wealth leaks out from our bad loans that we could be recapturing if we understood the power of arbitrage. So let's talk about the benefits of this miracle. What we want to do is we want to reposition the way we are structuring our money. In order to do that, we've got to have a different kind of thinking, and we've got to do things differently. I probably, the majority of the people who talk with me end up becoming a client. Some people quicker than others. But I can tell you in every single situation where someone did not become a client, it was because they were struggling. They were internally struggling, internally talking themselves out of repositioning. Why? Because we were asking them to change. We were asking them to do something different. We were asking them to step outside the box. And then they go talk to family and friends, and their family and friends say, oh, that's a scam. Oh, that don't work. Oh, negative, 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 negative. And that is the very reason why we have financial stagnation, because we can't get out of that borrower's mindset because we are taking advice from other people who have the borrower's mindset. So what we want to do is we want to create predictable, compounding growth on our money. Okay, let's close out in this case design. So let's just say we call them John and Mary. They're paying off a $300,000 mortgage in 5 years instead of 30, utilizing what? Arbitrage interest. What is arbitrage? Arbitrage is when we're creating more interest than we are paying. Okay. Secondly, we want to stop overpaying interest to the bank. So we want to stop overpaying interest to the bank. We want to identify how much each mortgage payment is costing us in interest versus principal. And then we want to reverse that. Next, we want to reduce unnecessary interest payments by redirecting that money into the arbitrage strategy. We want to use a banking strategy instead of an extra payment strategy. These are the terms that I want you to get used to using and used to thinking about, that you want to make uh, um, you want to make, you want to use a banking strategy instead of extra principal payments. Let's say that again. We want to say that with me, use a banking strategy instead of an extra principal payment strategy. And then instead of having extra payments to the lender, we want to redirect those funds into a financial vehicle, such as Index Universal Life and a HELOC. Why? Because we're going to use those strategies to compound interest. I'm going to stop there. We've got a guest speaker. Let me get my questions answered first. We've got a guest speaker. He's going to take a minute or two to introduce himself. Well, I'll introduce him. He's going to talk a little bit about taxes. But do we have any questions about the 5 miracles of money? We do have a question. Do we have to pay back the HELOC? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you want to pay back the HELOC. As a matter of fact, we're going to teach you, okay, now, okay, now, I want y'all to be able to sleep at night when I tell you some of these miracles. That's the reason why we call it the 5 miracles of money. The HELOC is going to act as a tool called the volume of money. Well, what the volume of money is, for example, what the HELOC does is it allows you to build more cash reserves with fewer dollars. So if you're going to use your HELOC to fund your policy, instead of you just putting in $500 a month, for example, you could start with $50,000. Starting with a lump sum gives you an incredible amount of leverage. Now, like you just said, but I'm creating a debt. Yes, you are. But we're going to show you how that debt is not going to impact your budget the way that we do it. If we use a software, we're going to eliminate that HELOC and implement some even more supercharged, we're going to supercharge this process to create even more cash reserves while keeping your budget the same. So that's why I'm saying if you have questions, please use that link to set up a 15-minute with me, and then we can kind of get a feel whether or not if this might even be something that's worth our time to go through. Can you show an example? Yes, but we don't. Okay, so we just kind of went through these steps right here. We don't have time to go through a picture example, but I tell you what, next time I'll show not only these steps, but I'll show a picture example at the same time. If you set up a 15-minute with me, I will send you a video and we'll go through a picture case design.
Is the velocity of money, the speed in which your money grows, depending on how much the more that you fund it?
Mhm, mhm.
Is that
So what we want to do, yes, it does. What we want to do, for example, when we take money out of the policy to pay down debt, we are absorbing that debt and creating arbitrage. Again, arbitrage is when we are making more interest than what we are paying. Now, when we absorb that debt and then take another loan for, let's just say, reinvestment purposes, you are systematically supercharging the overall system, because not only did you pay down that debt and are you creating interest from that debt, you're now using that same block of money for investing into something else at the same time. So we're going to give later down the road, we're going to give some examples of the velocity of money. But this is what you're already doing. This is what you're doing with the bank right now. You're just not getting the profits of it. You're paying it out in interest to the bank. They're creating velocity of money with you, but you're not doing it for yourself. We want to reverse engineer that. Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and introduce our guest. He only has 2 minutes. He is a tax specialist. And matter of fact, let me close this out so he can talk a little bit. And he's going to talk about a tax strategy and then leave his information for anyone to answer. Let me just speak to this $10,000 in equity. The equity amount, okay, is not, it is the dollar amount. But if a person only has $10,000 in equity, we're going to have to create more equity. Because when you try to get a HELOC, they want you to have a certain amount of what they call debt to debt ratio, or the amount of available equity. They want that to be a certain percentage. So in that case, we're going to have to bring down the debt on that equity. And again, this is because there's some other steps in conversation we need to have to even know if someone qualifies for this process. So no, not debt to income ratio, yes, and debt to value ratio. In other words, the percentage of debt you're trying to get versus the value of the property. There's some rules regarding that as well. So there's some prudence in this. This is not yeah, this is going to position a person to better position themselves and to be even more attractive to a bank. So, all right. So we're going to have our tax specialist, Mr. Michael Muse. Michael Muse, everybody. There you
How's everybody doing today? I want to say I'm grateful, I'm thankful. Anytime you can sharpen your mind to learn more about money when it comes to finances, what is the most biggest expense most people will face in their lifetime is what? Income taxes. And what's the thing is, key is how can you legally lower your liability and be in compliance to keep the IRS off your back, but also as you're lowering that liability, putting your money into tax deferred vehicles that can grow also. See, the wealthy have a plan. They know exactly how much they're going to pay or not pay in income taxes. See, when you are looking for a big refund, what you are doing, you are saying, here, Uncle Sam, take my money, blow it, and give it to other countries. Let my neighborhoods look horrible and messed up and homelessness and everything else running rapid all through your neighborhoods. You have to take charge. Number one is ownership, having a business, and having a financial vehicle like brother Jeff Taylor has going on. Get with me. Get your free consultation. So if you don't have a tax plan, let me help you get a tax plan so you could put it in play and so you could win at this game all across the board.
All right. Someone asked a question, should they start is starting an LLC the solution to the problem?
That's the start of the problem. That's the start.
That's the start of the problem?
That's the start to getting rid of the problem and to lowering their tax liability.
Okay.
That's the start. But the key is they have to. This is what makes our firm different. We find out about your lifestyle. Whatever your lifestyle is, we help create and turn your hobby, your love, your likes. We help you turn that into your LLC. So when you turn that into your LLC, now your LLC has purpose. Now you got a purpose in what you're doing and growing your income and growing your portfolio.
All right. All right. Thank you, Eminem. I call him Eminem. Thank you, everybody. I hope the class was worth it. I hope you got some great content out of this. One of the things that separates us from other professionals is that we show you where we got the information from. This is my 37th year in financial services, and I got to where I am because of listening to subject matter experts. This is the reason why our conversation is different. This is the reason why our conversation is problem solving, because we talk to people who are much smarter than us. I pay additional membership fees and things like that to be a part of groups over the years. And if we end up doing a needs analysis for you, you're going to see why what we teach is different and what the steps that you need to take to be able to position yourself to create the 5 miracles of money on your debt. All right. We done. All right, everybody, be blessed. Have a great night.